You are now tuned in to the Windy City Benders podcast. This is WCBP.
All right, it's another edition of the WCB podcast. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Nothing much, man. You know, just having a good time, getting ready. Less than 30 days till hockey, so let's go.
As this posting, it'll be 26 days until Blackhawks hockey starts. About 25 till regular season. I think we said North American hockey is the true start. So just October 11th will be the official start.
Overseas shit.
Yeah, especially because it's Nashville. Fuck Nashville. Anyway, so yeah, hockey is coming up. We're gonna start our division previews today. But before we get into that, we'll get into a little bit of housekeeping news with the Chicago Blackhawks, a little Hawks talk, quick hits. First off, a big one that kind of came out of nowhere because you really didn't hear anything about it. Jake McCabe underwent successful cervical spine surgery and is expected to miss 10 to 12 weeks. First off, holy shit. That sounds like a fucking tough pill to swallow pain wise. Like I can't imagine what he was going through and what happened to get to that point. Second off, kind of a blessing in disguise a little bit. And I know that sounds horrible to say that way, but the way I'm looking at it now, this opens up a defensive slot and an opportunity for some of the younger guys to step up. Hey, I know you're shaking your head, and let me say this, younger guys. I'm talking about Ian Mitchell, maybe Bowden. Even though I don't know how old Bowden is, 21 only still, right?
Yeah, he's still young. Where Mitchell's like 23, 24.
Yeah, Mitchell's 23. I know that. I think he's coming up to contract year, so it's kind of maybe time to like, hey, get out there and see what you can do type of thing. I feel like out of all the defensive prospects, he might be the one to kind of push into that role.
Maybe it's like the first shot at it.
Yeah, I think it is his position to lose at this point going into training camp.
Let's see. I mean, we do need more right-handed defensemen on the team, and I believe he is right-handed, so that's one helpful thing.
Right-handed defenseman. Philip Roos. Did I say it? Roos?
Yeah, Rooster.
He's a 23-year-old prospect as well, so he might get some might get a look there.
He was just signed in the offseason, so maybe he does.
Yeah. Jacob Galvis.
Galvis.
Yep.
Jakob.
You know what I'm saying.
Galvis.
He's another 23-year-old. And even Regula, he's 22. He had some decent time up with the team last year, so I think it gets an opportunity where I said it's a blessing in disguise. It's like one, Mitchell can get in there, I think, kind of prove that the spot he lost last year belongs to him. And two, you could rotate these young guys in there for, a game or two just to kind of just a little taste.
See if anybody has a little bit of shine in them for it. Yeah, I mean, Regular finished the season with the Hawks and was looking pretty decent. But I don't know. I kind of agree. Like, probably Mitchell would probably be the guy that they go for first. Because I think, like, Regular had a good season to end the year. Like, had a good couple of games.
Yeah.
I feel like he had 26 points in 41 games in Rockford. I feel like maybe because the Hawks aren't going to be too good, maybe he is, like, top line in Rockford.
Yeah.
So I think that would make sense. Like, I don't know, what did Mitchell do last year? 35 points in 57 games. I don't know. Maybe they split some time up on the big man roster, or maybe the Hawks just go out and sign PK Subban. Like, why not?
PK Subban.
You didn't expect that to come.
Oh, now, well, yeah, we kind of said last week, we're like, hey, unless it takes like an injury, I don't think anybody's getting added to it, and boom, right on cue, somebody goes down. A lot of people keep talking about Vlasic.
Yeah.
Taking that spot. And I disagree with that a lot. I know he might be ready to make the jump and all this kind of stuff, but I still think he's only 21 years old. Don't rush him. Not now,
Yeah,
not this
the
year.
the difference with him versus the other guys is I feel like Vlasic's like the stay-at-home defenseman, where like I don't know, he maybe plays in the minors and kind of bullies guys around, or he like tries to hold his own weight like up in the show.
Yeah.
He's huge. He's
Yeah.
fucking huge. Like that's the greatest part about him. 6'6", and he's listed at 6'6" and 200 pounds. So that's actually kind of like I would say probably underweight for being 6'6".
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I get nervous with that because of like I think he's being built as being like the decor centerpiece of the future.
Maybe.
Like the Duncan Keith of this future decor a little bit. Like that's the guy that they are gonna put their all the eggs in his basket and let him kind of control the D and be the guy. And
They want you. I feel like with the way you're talking, it would be more like a Seabrook role. Like
okay, yeah, one of the top two
the
guys. Yeah,
I don't yeah maybe because I feel like what they would want out of like a Keith would be like going with the Kevin Korchinski with that first round pick. Like
fair.
that's probably what they. I don't know if that's the pairing they're looking for is Korchinski and Vlasic, but that's the future.
I messed up my comparison. I apologize, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, like if we're just going based off of what we've seen before, like those are the kind of guys that like
Yeah,
seem to like those are the roles that fit what they are kind of like looking like, I guess.
I mean, that's fair.
But who knows? I don't know.
It
I really liked when Galvis was playing
yeah,
anytime last year too. And then there's also that Ethan Del Mastro kid who's I think he was just at World Juniors. Yeah, he was playing for Canada World Juniors. I think he was a late addition, like filled in for an injury, but um he's probably going to just be in juniors this year. But like that's another guy I think they're looking forward to in the future. Who was a fourth round pick, but he had 48 points in 68 games last year in the OHL.
there
It's like
was there was an Instagram account that just did like the top 100 prospects, and he was actually number 100.
it that was I saw that too. Was that NHL discussion or puck report? But that's based off of elite prospects. That's what I have it pulled up right
Oh
here.
shit!
It's puck report NHL. But yeah, it's from elite prospects, like their webpage. So yeah, Ethan Del Mastro
Okay.
was well, I guess since we're gonna talk like briefly talk about this, he was number 100, and then the other Hawks prospects on the list were Lucas Reichel at 55. So I think like maybe I don't know if we overvalue him or if they undervalue him, but they also have Kevin Korchinski at 49. But I think the coolest was they had Frank Nazar at 14.
Let's go. I mean, I am so excited about that kid. Like, I
Yeah,
cannot wait.
there's tons of upside for him, which would be amazing. And I feel like as long as we can finally hold on to a first round pick instead of fucking trading them away again, I think Nicholas Bowden is the only one we have from the since like Kane.
And he's really like the lost or forgotten like defensive prospect. I feel
Yeah,
like instantly anybody when it's like, oh, we need a defenseman to come up. Who's it gonna be? Not one person mentions him, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
yeah, I don't know at this point. I'm hoping it's a like he's gonna just be solid, but who knows?
I mean, I'm looking at cap friendly and like the defensemen in our like non-roster players. Nolan Allen, I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah, that's right.
He's 19
He's
years
I forgot we
old.
have him as that was a first round pick last year.
Yeah, 2021, 32nd overall. You got that Isaac Phillips, who he played a couple games with the Hawks last year too, and he looked pretty good for his time up there. I know he was just kind of really like tossed out there for a couple. I think it was like 2 games up in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, like the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, and
He didn't look out of place either. And
no,
he's
he
like a
looked
six rounder or
yeah,
something
he
like
looks
that too.
good. He is what is it? He's also a big guy too, I think, right? Yes, no, he's
Maybe.
6'2", 188. Or
Yeah.
sorry, 6'2", 193. Nationality Jamaica and Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking cool.
Yep.
But it's like I think there's enough prospects. It's just this is going to be one of those tests. Big test for Kyle Davidson is Does he do the Stanway and rush these guys up and then break them and then try to trade them because they're not going to work? Or does he let them get some experience, learn the pro game a little bit, and call them up when they're ready?
I mean, he has the luxury of being able to do that, where I feel like Bowman was tight to the cap and he needed these guys that were on ELCs to perform at like NHL level already because they couldn't really afford any other NHL like level players.
Fair.
So it did fuck a lot of people up. But yeah, I think like that was the whole point about bringing Jack Johnson in too. Is you want to get the veterans that are just going to take the roster spots now and have the other guys just play their game in juniors and play their game in Rockford and just get used to it.
Those Rockford guys playing together and getting experience together. I mean, minimize the growing pains as much as possible. Like there is still going to be some growing pains when you come up to the NHL. Obviously, it could be games a lot faster. I mean, I know it's just the AHL, the NHL, but still, it's a different game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, there's no McDavid in the AHL.
Right.
So like as soon as you step out there on the ice with that guy, and then you're like, so shit, like this is legit.
100%. Yeah. So it's like, if you can minimize the growing pains to where it's like, okay, I got to learn how to play against McDavid versus I got to learn how to play against McDavid and also have to learn how to play with this guy and also have to learn how to play this system, kind of like minimize that as much as possible. And I think that's what the ultimate goal is here.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the good thing about the contract links that we have going on right now too. Like we'll have a ton of roster turnover, but we'll probably end up being one of the younger rosters in the next like 2-3 years. And these guys that are going to be playing in the AHL that did well last year, made the playoffs, are going to be the ones leading the show. And they're only going to be like max 25, 26 years old.
Let's go.
Yeah. It's a lot of like exciting things to look forward to. It's just right now we're kind of in that, tank mode. So like it's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be trying to play for contracts elsewhere, but also trying to gain value. And then, hey, we're moving them and we're gaining like assets and everything. It's going to be great.
Like we said, yeah, they're playing for contract. We need to do just good enough where, you get your contract, but not good enough where we're winning games that we don't need to win.
And that contract is not going to be here.
Yeah. Oh, man. Other little Hawks talk news here. The promo schedule was announced, and obviously the highlight was the Hossa jersey retirement night, November 20th against Pittsburgh. We were all hoping for the Atlanta Thrashers would be the team they played against, but just doesn't work out that way. But he goes up to the Raptors, starts sparking the debate about who goes up next. Don't want to get into that. I think it's gonna be Duncan Keith. I think Duncan Keith gets announced probably next year.
Yeah.
And then all that kind of stuff.
Because isn't his deal up before everyone else?
I think his deal's up next year.
Oh no. I mean, I guess he is retired. We have the recapture penalty. So he's retired and we got the penalty. Whereas like Seabrook is still like LTIR, not retired.
How fucked up is that when we hear a player is done, we all automatically assume he's LTIR and not actually retired?
Yeah. Right. That's kind of weird.
Tell me the GMs manipulate this league without telling me that they actually manipulate this league. Retirement. There you go. The bone I got to pick with the Blackhawks with that, though, is tickets on sale for single game tickets. Awesome. I'm going to go pick up some for the host tonight. 300 section, the entire season. It's about $35 for a ticket up there. Host a night started at $150 for 300 section. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no way.
Like, come on. I'm going to wait. I'm going to get no free ads with Game Time app. I will use them and get tickets like day of and go see Hossa for a fraction of the cost. But there's no way I'm not going to that game. That's going to be too awesome. And to get the little retirement like replica banner, that's going to be sick.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. The last thing I have for Hawks talk is the prospect tournament or games,
Oh,
scrimmages.
yes.
That got announced. And as I'm bringing this up, I realized I forgot to pull it up, the actual rosters, but there were some interesting names on there that I know off the top of my head that I will bring up while I'm pulling this up is Lucas
Yeah, I
Reichel's
have.
playing.
Oh, yeah. It's just
Which
the prospect showcase. So who do they end up? Who do they play? Isn't it like they play like Minnesota, and Minnesota's players always trying to like fucking injure everybody?
yeah, so okay, so it is we'll face off Minnesota Wild for 2 games, Friday and Sunday. Friday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 1 p.m. Games are taking place at Fifth Third Arena, which is the Blackhawks practice arena for those of you who don't know. So the forwards are. Do you have it pulled up? Because
Yep.
I'm not gonna butcher all these guys' names. So you
Evan Barrett, DJ Bus Decker, Colton Dock, Cole Gutman, Gavin Hayes, Paul Ludwinski, Riley McKay, Jakob Poor, Lucas Reichel, Samuel Savoy, Joseph Serpa, Josiah Slavin, and Michael Tepley. Those are the forwards.
It was a little weird. Nazar was on there.
No, it's not. It's not that weird.
Where's he at?
None of the NCAA guys are going to be on this team on this prospect showcase.
Oh, that's right. He is NCAA. I forgot. I thought he was still developmental team. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, so like the guys that are going to be missing are going to Nazar, Kaiser, Slaggert, Regula, Comesso, and Rinzel. Also, I think Regula. I don't know. I don't know why Regula's not on it, but Reichel's on it. That also is kind of weird because
Regula played too many games or something, or
I don't.
does that work that way?
I don't really think so. I don't know. But for defensemen, you got Nolan Allen, Louis Crevier, Ethan Del Mastro, Jakob Galvis, Kevin Korchinski, Isaac Phillips, Philip Roos, and Alex Vlasic. I feel like Vlasic played more games than Regula, didn't he?
Let me see. Vlasic played 15 games.
You played 15?
Yeah. And Regula. Is it Regula or Regula? I think we've had this conversation.
They both played 15. Oh, is it because I'd say Regula, or sometimes I do say Regula. I don't know. I say Regula though, for the most part. It might be because Regula's 21. No, because Josiah Slavin's 23. I don't know. Maybe it's just they decided not to let him play. Anyway, the goalies are going to be Jackson Stauber and Mitchell Weeks.
And that explains too why Comesso wasn't there. Okay.
Yeah, the NCAA thing. Comesso and Rinzel too, the 25th overall pick from this year, because I think he's going to Minnesota.
Yes. So there's 4 players drafted from this year in this. Both games are going to be streamed on Blackhawks.com. I believe I already said times 7 p.m. Central on Friday and 1 p.m. Central on Sunday. I will miss Sunday's game, but I'll probably tune into Fridays. Anyway, no, I mean it's really hard to kind of base anything off of this. It's just kind of more of like, hey, let's see how these guys are. I'm just hoping because it's Minnesota and like you said, they like to try to hurt everybody, that they don't take a run at like Reichel, who I think is projected to make the team this year out of camp.
Yeah,
so
I feel like whoever's coaching that team, like once they see like how the tempo's going, maybe they just be like, all right, Lucas, you're gonna go take a seat.
I can just see like Coach Richardson's up in like the skybots above the ice, and then as soon as it goes on, he's got like a fucking like dead eye with because it's the Rockford coach, and then just like fuck cut it down, like shut it down, like get him off of there.
Give Vlasic out there, just start pumping guys.
Yeah, God.
Oh, that'd be great.
So that's gonna be kind of cool. So first little taste of hockey for sure. I mean, if you're interested in that. Other than that, do you have anything else for hot stock?
No.
All right, so we're kicking. You're good.
But
oh no, I saw you.
I said nope.
Okay. All right, so we're kicking off our division previews with the Metropolitan Division. Metropolitan. I always say Metro, and I was like, but it's actually the Metropolitan. I didn't know what to commit to, and I kind of said it weird. Whatever. Thanks for calling me out. I feel self-conscious.
You're welcome.
Names.
You should feel bad.
All right. So the way we're gonna go through this is we're gonna start with how the teams finished this past season. So we'll kick it off in Carolina. They won the division last year with a 54-20-8 record, 116 points. Now, my list I have here, I wrote down the names I thought were key that came in and left, not anybody. I just didn't want to write everybody down, not necessarily. Everybody. So I have Paul Stastny, 1-year deal. Matt Pacioretty traded for future considerations, and then Brent Burns. Burns comes in. Well, it's fucking jacked and ready to go, by the way, from the few photos that have gone out of him down in Carolina. They all came in. The main piece that they lost was Tony DeAngelo, who got traded to Philly.
Trocheck.
Oh, that's right. He was on there.
Yep.
I couldn't remember where Trocheck played last year. Yeah, and Trocheck, who signed in New York, which we'll get to that in a little bit. Pacioretty is going to miss a decent amount of time. He tore his Achilles?
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it was like an Achilles issue.
Yeah, so he hurt something with his Achilles. He's out for, I think, 6 months. So I think they were saying by February. Yeah.
Yep.
This team's going to be sick.
Yeah. Hey, also Calvin DeHaan on a PTO. So they're going to be so good. I always love watching Andrei Svechnikov play. I can never get enough of that guy. He's so amazing. Who else did they just like small things? I don't know. Nothing really crazy. But they're returning mostly the same team. That kid, Seth Jarvis, I think has been pretty good for him last year. 40 points in 68 games in his rookie season. I mean, they're just going to be good. They're going to be so good.
Bringing back both goalies.
Their big issue last year in the playoffs was the fact that both of their goalies went down.
Yeah.
And they had their prospects, Kochetkov.
Yeah.
And like he didn't do terrible, but it's kind of like, let's see, he only played 3 games in the NHL and then played 4 games in the playoffs.
And had the little run-in with Marchand too, right?
He like slashed him or something like that. Yeah. And I mean, that's their goalie of their future too. So it's good that he got a little bit of time, but I mean, you probably didn't want to depend on him on your playoff run. Yeah. You have like these 2 other guys that had both had really great seasons. And it was such a weird year too, because they had that goalie turnover like that.
It was a whole new goalie tandem for them, right?
Yeah.
Both Frederick Anderson and Antti Raanta both came in.
Instead of James Reimer and like Peter Mrazek or something. I don't know. Like
it was Ned
Nedeljkovic. That's right.
Coming off the Calder Trophy nomination.
Yeah.
He got traded to Detroit for a 3rd-round pick, which Detroit did again with another defensive prospect or goalie prospect. But we'll talk about that when we next week.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I think, I mean, is it safe to say it's their division to lose? And then also, is it cup or bust for this team?
No, I think that like it's not cup or bust because they have a lot. They have like next year still. A lot of their guys are still locked up for another year.
So coming up after the season, Jordan Staal,
Jesper. He's also going to be 35. So
right. Jesper
maybe he keeps playing, but he's definitely not going to be making $6 million. Jesper Fast. Andre Kasha, Paul Stastny, like
Wolves came in this year.
Like those are guys that you can fill those spots. Like their main core is all signed for at least another year.
Oh my god!
Like Sebastian Aho is going to need a contract in 2 years. That's probably the big. Oh, and Teravainen. But like even
signed till 29-20 or 29-30. Dude, that's just insane seeing that number. Like that's not a real year yet. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. See you in the year 2030 when your deal ends.
Jesus.
That's Seth Jones, so
Yeah, God.
but yeah, like this year is not like the only year they have. Like they got plenty of time. I think like they might have to refigure or retool like their goalie situation after this season.
Yeah, they're both
But
up this year.
I mean, you can probably just re-sign one of them, and then maybe that Kochetkov guy is going to be ready to back up. Like, we'll see. Like, he's not bad.
I think,
Plus,
yeah, I think
oh yeah,
Freddie
I
Anderson would
mean,
be a good.
this
I
year
like both of
is probably
them.
going to be one of their best shots, though, just because they do have Pacioretty at $7 million, and I mean, once
Oh,
he
he's out
comes in,
too.
like that's going to be a pretty stacked top six, like even top nine. God damn, dude, they're going to be deep. Yeah, they're going to be just so deep. They're going to be such a complete team. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be any kind of cakewalk or anything like in that division, but it's obviously theirs to win.
Balls in their court. What they do with it is going to be up to them, and hopefully they stay healthy because this is a fun team to watch. They made the jersey change this year. They're bringing that black jersey as their new home jersey. They revealed their 25th anniversary jersey, which is essentially the original Carolina Hurricane jersey, which
The
is
toilet bowl.
so sick. I like that logo. I know
I
people
do
don't.
too.
I think it's such a cool logo. I don't understand the hate it gets, but whatever.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
all right. Do you got anything else you want to talk about with Carolina?
No, I mean, I think that they're just going to be a real fucking solid team. Goddamn.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the rest of the teams in the division. Like nobody sets the meter off like those guys.
No.
Just the
At
vibes.
least not with the roster yet. And when I
Yeah.
say that, I'm talking about the New York Rangers, who finished second in the division last year, 52, 24, and 6 for 110 points. And I am blanking. They were conference final, right? Against Tampa.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I was making sure I couldn't remember which series that was. So fresh off a conference final appearance.
Yeah, they beat Carolina
Yeah, that's right.
because
Oh,
Carolina beat Boston. Carolina lost to the Rangers, and then
yeah,
Rangers
you're
lost
right.
to Tampa.
Yeah, because the Rangers went through Pittsburgh, Carolina. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yes.
So the
The
main
Rangers struggled to get through Pittsburgh.
yes, they did.
Their third line goalie,
God, that was
third string goalie. I mean, yeah.
brutal. Main piece come in, as you mentioned before, Trocheck signs a 7-year ticket, which I think overpay a little bit.
I mean, he's solid. He was an all-star a few years ago when he was in Florida, but like they also didn't really have anything else going on for him.
Yeah, I guess I don't know why.
51 points in 81 games.
Yeah, I thought for some reason I thought it was more up like the 6 range, not 5.
10 points in 14 playoff games last year. Like I think he's just like a solid player.
Yeah, good. I mean, good. He's only 29. That's crazy too. I feel like he's been around for a while.
Really? I feel like he hasn't. I don't know why.
I guess
I
it's
feel
just
like
because he's moved around a lot. Because what, Florida, Carolina, now New York. Maybe that's what it is. So that was like the main piece that came in. They traded away Nemeth and Georgiev.
oh yes, Alexander Georgiev. Georgiev. Yeah.
Nemeth went to Arizona, and Georgiev, whatever, going to Colorado to replace
Colorado
Darcy Kemper.
signed a contract immediately.
So now the reason I said before going into this is right now Carolina Panthers, no other team or Carolina Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, no other team in the division like sparks anything like they do. But New York Rangers, they are being heavily associated with Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
You pick up Patrick
true.
Kane, and I think you add New York to the same level as Carolina for this division.
Kind of. Kind of. It was just there's a thing about the Rangers that forgot. I remember hearing like in the last like couple months, but like they had a lot of games where they gave up way more shots than the other team that they still won. Like, they depended so much on Shesterkin that last season. It kind of propelled them, like, and he played so well. That's why it kind of propelled them to that second place spot in like the conference finals. So, I mean, he had a great season, but he will likely have to repeat that in order for them to be like right up there with Carolina.
Last season was the perfect example of what a good goalie can do for you.
Yeah.
Like, he willed that team many times.
Like, they're not a bad team, but there was plenty of games where I think like they got outshot and the other team had like close to 50 shots and they still won.
Yeah, and like their defense doesn't really like do much for me. I mean, obviously they got Adam Fox, who is just unreal. Trouba, the name captain this year, with Panarin having the awesome tweet like, "Hey, congratulations, but it should have been me," which is kind of funny. Miller is, I think, going to be a great defenseman. He's super.
I love watching Kadri Miller.
Yeah, he is awesome watching already, and he's only 22. But other than that, there's really nobody that like. Lindgren maybe is another guy that's kind of like, yeah, he's solid, but it's not like, yeah, it's not like a, oh shit, look at that guy type of situation.
Yeah.
They did re-sign Capo Caco, 2 years, 2.1 million per.
Yeah, I think he gets pooped on a bit. Like, he got sat in that like game 7 against Tampa.
Yeah,
and that line was doing like pretty great. Lafreniere, Kako, and Hedel.
The kid line.
Yeah, I mean, I think the surprising thing for me is like Lafreniere like was a huge deal going into that draft year, and I feel like he just hasn't been like as hype as like the hype was.
I was thinking about that too. Like, do you think maybe it has something to do because it's the Rangers and it necessarily was a team that didn't need him? So it's not as noticeable. Like, he's not as noticeable out there. Where if he went to like Arizona,
he's only got 52 points in 135 games. Like, I don't know, like how you're like not able to produce on a team that is playoff bound, basically.
What line does he typically play on, though? That's what I'm asking. Like, is it like because like,
well, if he was gonna play like first overall, he could be on the top 2 lines.
He's projected to be top line right now.
Oh, really?
According to Cap Friendly.
Oh, yeah. They have him on the depth chart with with Zibanejad and Panarin.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of sick.
I mean, that's
Ryan Strome. Wasn't he on that line?
Yeah, he was on that line.
That's who they lost. That's the
big
loss.
Yeah.
But I mean,
where do you want?
Can he step up? He's only 20 years old anyway. What's up?
You went to Anaheim, right, Strome?
Yeah, he went to Anaheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, does Chris Kreider put in another 50 goals? Like what before that? Like his closest was 29.
Yeah, that was a fucking insane. What the hell happened there?
He had 28 twice, and then he puts up 52. Like, is he gonna do that again? Like, that's a big help.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say no, but I don't know. It's like,
I mean, Lafreniere has all the chances in the world right now to and it's like the perfect setup. If he's gonna play right wing instead of left wing, he gets to have like kind of like Patrick Kane role on having he's got his shooting hands or shooting side to the inside where Panarin has it too. So like cross ice like one timers. Like,
I'm glad you point that out because I'm a lefty in hockey. I always wanted to play right wing, and I had people telling me, "Why would you do that? That's your offhand." And it's like, because you're opened up then. Like, I don't understand why people don't understand that concept and why that makes so much more sense.
I mean, offensively, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, defensively, not as much.
Tough. Yeah.
But like the other thing too is like if you're right-handed playing the left side on any kind of breakout, your stick's towards the boards. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're not catching things on the backhand if they're ringing around the boards, like that's a big deal. Like, just puck possession in general, but it does make it more difficult to like do break-ins into the zone because you would have to pull the puck across your body to go deep into the corner. But I don't know, if you're fucking good, do it.
Yeah. What do you think about him being Lafreniere being packaged in a Kane deal. You think they would do that? If he's
Oh,
struggling
yeah,
this year?
sure. Why not? Like he would get all the ice time in the world. I don't know if he's going to be any better, but Lafreniere and Bedard, that'd be kind of sick. One of the things too that like is kind of an addition for them that is it was kind of or could have hurt them last year was Sammy Blay. He was injured for like the entire season. He played 14 games, had 4
Yeah, you're
assists.
right.
He was in the Buchnevich trade. So he might be able to like be pretty decent. I don't know if he stays healthy. But yeah, they still have Ryan Reeves, Barclay Goodrow, is like it's so funny to me that they traded for him and gave him the deal that they did, and he's currently listed. He's only like a third or fourth line player, so like paying close to $4 million for a guy that's like an energy third fourth line player is very Marcus Kruger vibes for me.
I was gonna say he had the Bickle deal.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Performs in the playoffs and then gets paid for that.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Vesey's on a PTO.
I would say don't forget Rangers legend back at it.
They also have Ryan Carpenter, who I always love Ryan Carpenter's game. That guy is just a good spark plug.
Yeah, that's a guy I wish could have worked out better here in Chicago. I definitely liked him on the team, but it just for the situation just didn't make sense for him to be here.
No.
Long term and all that. But yeah, so I mean the Rangers, I think they're gonna be good. I think I personally, I know we're gonna talk about, we think everybody's finishing at the end here, but I personally think 1-2 is pretty much locked as these two teams. It potentially,
I mean, anything can happen, but
yeah.
like if Shesterkin goes down for any period of time, that team is screwed.
Yeah,
they are fucking
back
screwed.
up.
Yeah, like he's I mean, used to be a solid backup. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention while he was in Vancouver, but I'm sure he's serviceable still.
17 games played last year at a 2.94 goals against average, 90 save percentage, and he was 4-7.
Well, I'm sure they're just gonna be looking for him to play maybe 12 games. Get Shesterkin out there for fucking 70. But yeah, I mean, he goes down. Like that's the thing. Like they have a lot of like really good guys, but like if Fox, Panarin, Shesterkin goes down, that team is gonna take a pretty big hit. Like
there's no depth.
They don't. Yeah, they don't have the depth that Carolina has, or like a lot of the top teams have.
No next man up type of situation. All right, let's go over to the team that the Rangers knocked out last year, barely in the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Penguins, who sidebar reverse retro jerseys are getting leaked and announced on October. Getting leaked the 19th, announced on the 20th. Pittsburgh, it came out that Pittsburgh's using the Robo Penguin logo again, so that's gonna be cool.
I'm all about it. That was like the first logo of my first travel team when we were the Oak Park Eagles. It was the exact same logo, but it didn't have the penguin head. It had an eagle head.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was the coolest. Same colors and everything. It had the gold and black and white. It was awesome.
All right, so Pittsburgh last year finished 46, 25, and 11 for 103 points. Like we said, it got knocked out by the Rangers in the first round. In Petrie, Ruda, I think those were like the two main pieces.
Petrie.
Jeff Petrie.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yes. Out Matheson, Marino, re-signed after some drama. They re-signed Malkin, Letang re-signed, and Raquel re-signed as well after being traded last season. I mean, this has got to be here. This.
They traded for him last season.
Yeah, at the deadline, right?
Yeah. They traded for him and then signed him.
Yeah, 6 year, like 6 something.
6 year, $5 million.
$5 million. For some reason, I think everybody just gets $6 million. Malkin,
6x6 always just sounds cooler.
Yeah.
So
Malkin
6x5,
same deal. I think Malkin got less term though.
Yeah, he did. He got 4 years. Letang, what did Letang get? 6?
He goes until the end of 27, 28.
6 years. Jesus. Yeah. Jeez. I can't believe, like, That's crazy. I mean, he's 35 and they signed him to a 6-year contract.
Yeah,
Like they're just planning on LTIR.
did they not
It
pay attention to like any better like older guy in the league lately? Like
I mean, it's what's going to happen. It's going to end up being an LTIR contract because the way it's even set up, it's like he's got a signing bonus and a base salary this year, and he's got just the base next 3 years after that. And last 2 years is just 1 million base salary with 3.8 signing bonus. And I don't like is he gonna really play that? Like
he's so injured prone already too. Like
right. That's what I mean. That's what I always feel like he's often injured.
let's see. I mean, he played a lot this year.
He's played 941 games. And I mean, in 149 playoff games, like that's lots of games, man. And you're expecting 6 more years out of him. So okay, Pittsburgh is gonna collapse in the next like 3 years,
and they're not even giving themselves a chance to try to like prevent it. You know?
Yeah, they're I think one of the oldest teams in the league too.
Oh god, they got it.
Like their average age is 29.2. I don't know if there's a way to like search that at the moment.
29.2 for forwards, 29.8 for defensemen, and 29 for
goalies altogether. Average age is 29.4. Huh, that's crazy.
I mean, when is this gonna like finally fall for Pittsburgh? Like they're always a team that people are like, this is it, they're done. They can't compete, and then they fucking sneak into the 3rd spot in the in the division.
Well, I don't know, like other teams collapse, and you still have Sidney Crosby, and he's just amazing still. He's just solid.
When is he up? Oh,
he's got 3 years left.
Yeah. God, Crosby's 35. Jesus. We're getting old, man. We are getting old. This is insane.
Yeah. It's all right though, you know. That's what happens. Yeah, he's got one of those deals that was 12 years. 8.7 per.
He's such a weirdo. He is. I'm
Yeah,
number 87. I was born on August 7th, and I need to be paid 8.7 million.
That's really, you know.
Grow up.
Way to go. Way to go.
Grow up, Crosby. There's more numbers than 87. As I tried to do everything 13, but whatever.
Yeah, try winning 87 Stanley Cups, bud. Like, I mean, if he continues to play, like, I don't know what you do. Like, that team needs to rebuild soon. And, like, I'm sure they don't want to do it for the length of his contract. But, like, if he doesn't choose to retire, do you just go, Sydney, we need to rebuild. We have no prospects.
I know he said, like, he was asked about his when all the drama was going on with Letang and Malkin and all that. They asked him about contract, and he said, I have 3 years left. And then they're like, until you retire. And he goes, I have 3 years left, and then we'll take it year by year.
Yeah.
So
like, does he play somewhere else? Like, if he wants to keep playing?
Dude, I can't picture him doing
because like they like, or do they keep just getting rid of every prospect that they have to try and just keep the window open while he's on the team?
Does he go the Mario route where he signs a contract, but it's more based on he gets percentage of the team and he kind of.
You mean, does like Mario sign that give it to him? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, does he like, yeah, but I mean, does he become like the next Mario Lemieux?
I don't think so, but I don't know. It's just, I don't think that team's going to be as good as they were last year. And I don't know, they could sneak into a playoff spot. Like, it's weird for me because, like, just think, like, before we even start talking about all the other teams, I think, like, the 3rd spot is open to basically any team that's left in that division.
100%.
So, I don't know, like, Yeah, Pittsburgh's just old. It's old. Like,
And they've proven that you can mortgage the future and it not bite you in the ass. I think that might be changing now with the deals they gave Letang and Malkin. But up until this point, it proved the point and that you can do it. And I think it was what Stan was trying to do, and he did it wrong.
yeah, he didn't do it at all.
Did Malkin and Letang get no movement clauses?
Yes, I believe they did.
Letang starting
And he's
July
got
1st,
NMC.
2026. It's a 10 team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then Malkin just has a full no movement clause.
I just love the fact that, like, if you're just looking at their cap friendly, it's like they have 335 plus, like, no movement clause contracts.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
That's a lot of no movement clauses on this team. They're fucked. They are really
I
fucked.
feel like you either keep going or, like, next year when Gensel is supposed to get a new deal, maybe it's time to move him and, like, try and get some things back before it all falls apart.
They're gonna get lucky that when Gensel needs his deal, that's when the cap goes up a shit ton, and they're gonna be fine.
Did Brian Rust just recently sign a new deal? Yeah, he's starting his first year in a 6-year contract too, that he signed in May. Damn. I mean, his deal takes him to when he's 36. Ricard Raquel's deal takes him to when he's like 36, 35. Fucking Malkin's deal has him going until like 40. And then Letang has it until 41. Can you imagine these guys are actually still on this team 4 years from now?
That's the funny thing
30,
too.
30.
When Letang signed his deal, he goes, "Oh, Letang." They tweeted out Letang Penguin for life, and I kind of want to screenshot this and hold this for when this ultimately doesn't happen because I can't see that happening. It makes no sense.
I love it. All right. Well, I mean, Pittsburgh needs to collapse anyway. It's just got to happen. If it's going to happen to us, it's got to happen to them too.
Yeah, there's no reason why they should be better than us for longer than us. Bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. No, you got the Pens. So you know what Pens need? They need caps. Washington Capitals. They finished 4th in the division. 44, 26, and 12 for 100 points. They had some big moves this offseason. Not necessarily big moves, but they made a lot of moves. They brought in Dylan Strome. They traded for Connor Brown. They signed Darcy Kemper. I just put it because they're Hawks. Gus and Borgstrom. Those guys came in. They traded away Vanacek. I think that was like the main piece they lost.
Yeah. I think if they lost anybody,
you kind of mark this as a loss. Is Nicholas Backstrom?
Yeah, that's
doesn't know when / if he's going to play. Back issues going on with him. There was like rumors that he might just be done. He might be retiring.
Yep. He just LTIR for the rest of that deal.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's another older team, right? You know, like they're big guns in like Ovechkin, Oshie. I mean, Backstrom, who's injured, but like those guys are like mid-30s. Like Oshie's 35, Ovechkin's 36, Backstrom's 34. I mean, their big defenseman John Carlson's 32. Like that's like maybe the age of regression. And even like the rest of their decor, Dmitry Orlov, 31, Nick Jensen, 31, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, 31, Gustafsson, 30, Matt Irwin, 34, and then Martin Fehervary is 22. It's like they a bunch of 30-year-olds and then a 22-year-old. I don't know. It's one of those teams, you know, like just like Pittsburgh, like they've been in the hunt for so long. They played so many games that like it's not. I mean,
I think
they'll be able to compete because I think that the division is kind of like we said up in the air for that third spot. But like once they make the playoffs, I don't know. It doesn't really move the needle for me.
I think a huge issue too is Darcy Kemper's going to find out, if people are going to see that Darcy Kemper isn't this amazing goalie that they were all calling him last year, for winning the Stanley Cup and all that kind of stuff. I think he's going to get exposed as one of those goalies that, yeah, he's good, but the team he had in front of him in Colorado is miles ahead of the team he's going to have in front of him in Washington.
I think the opposite. I think that because the team is going to be less, not as great defensively, it's going to be like when he was in Arizona. He had to be dependent on a lot more. That he had crazy, insanely great stats in Arizona because that team was so poor defensively. I think he's the type of goalie that plays better the more action he has, which is why it hurt him a bit. He didn't look as great in Colorado was because they were so good defensively. He still had a great year in Colorado, like .921 save percentage and 2.54 goals against average. But there's towards the end of the 2010s, 2018, 2019 in Arizona, the team was not good. 233 goals against average and a .925 save percentage in 55 fucking games.
That's fair.
That kind of shit. It's where when they had the playoffs in the bubble, and then he was playing against Colorado, and I forgot who else they played in the opener, but he stole games from Colorado, getting shelled 55 plus shots.
Oh yeah, did he beat Colorado and it was a huge almost 60 save game or something like that? Or
yeah,
the year before
it was that was in the bubble because they didn't make the playoffs other than that. But it was just that's the type of goalie I think he is that he plays better with the more action he gets. And he's definitely not going to have the same type of defense that he had in Colorado. He might just show up and be up there this year.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't think about it that way.
Pickup by them.
Okay, yeah, I did not think of it that way, so it's very fair and valid points.
But yeah, this team is weird too, because this is, I think, maybe a last hurrah for them, because after this year you have in your defensive core you have John Carlson locked up for 3 more years. That's it. And then you have 5 forwards locked up, and I mean the main guys are Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Oshie, and Mantha. And I don't know if they're going to be able to keep, or if they're going to want to keep some of these guys, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. They could be pretty decent, but we'll see.
So what I had written down for them, my little storyline for them is, it's Ovechkin watch at this point, right?
Exactly.
114 goals away from tying Gretzky. At this point, you're just hoping they do whatever they can to get him the puck, and
he does it this year. 115 goals.
But that's all. When I'm looking at this Washington team, that's all I really kind of see with them. I think they can make a playoff spot. I think they could get a wild card there, but I don't think that they're gonna be one of those teams that it's they're in the playoffs every year, but they're also knocked out in the first round every year.
Yeah, that's what it was last year. It was oh yeah, they're in the playoffs, but everybody's Florida's gonna smoke them.
Yeah. I just
closer than it needed to be, but yeah, they didn't have too much of a chance. Oh, I forgot Tom Wilson's still there too.
He was in their IR, right?
Yeah, he's on their IR. But yeah, he's only got a deal up until next year too. So a lot of guys on 1-year contracts currently.
Which could benefit them if they want to get, going spend next year or whatever. But the way I see it too, Dylan Strome now, that's your guys' problem. Have fun with the inconsistency there.
Don't expect him to play defense.
Yeah. And if God forbid you don't put him on the top 2 lines.
Oh, let's see. Where is he currently listed on their depth chart? Second line with Connor Brown and Anthony Mantha.
I was gonna laugh so hard if they had him protected third line. He's probably sitting at home. He's sitting on draft or cap friendly, who I'm on third line. Fuck this. I'm not gonna play. That's how I think he sounds.
That's how you think he sounds.
100%.
Oh god.
All right. Speaking of consistency issues, we'll move on to the New York Islanders, who was a very interesting team this offseason. Last year they finished 37, 35, and 10 for 84 points for fifth in the division. 84 points, and not technically a winning record. How do you say it? Not a winning. What was their percentage there?
So what?
The win percentage
just
for them.
Fuck. Their points percentage is 512.
Okay, so they're like
1.2. About 500, yeah.
Okay, so about 500. Because I always forget how you count like the overtime losses and all that. But
yeah, I mean, it's if they finished with 82 points, they would have been at 500.
So all right, so after a rough start to the season on the road, and then just getting absolutely screwed with COVID,
sort of rough all around.
Rough season for them. Then Barry Trotz gets let go as the season comes to an end. And then what does Lou do? Nothing.
Cans him.
Well, no, yeah, he's fired. But I'm saying after after that's all said and done, and a team that missed the playoffs or a team that theoretically probably should be in the playoffs, they're a great. I think they're a great team. I think they're a solid team. Needs a couple pieces. So what does Lou do? He does nothing. He forgets that he even has to sign players. I think he was so convinced that Kadri was going to come there that he didn't even call Kadri up to ask him if he wants to come play. Because it took, let's see, I'm pulling
until what, August?
The first signing that
it was signing day.
That wasn't
signing day.
Yeah, they had one entry level deal. So it wasn't a free agent or anything. But the first like really signings they did was August 22nd, over a month after they opened a free agency. Main move he made was at the draft when he brought in Romanov from Montreal, which was a part of the 3-team deal to get Kirby to Montreal and us the 7th overall or 13th overall pick.
Hell yeah. Frank Nazar.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't really lose anybody. They didn't bring anybody in.
They didn't do a whole lot of anything.
So does this team
that
get
was,
better? I mean,
that was it. They just picked up Romanoff. Yeah, it's just funny to me. Like the 22nd, 23rd, that's the only signings that they had. Oh, besides that ELC that you said on the 15th.
And most of these were extensions too, I think. Or guys like they're already on the team. Like
yeah. They didn't go for any free agents really. Like they just filled in some spots. Like they didn't get anybody huge or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's weird. Way to go, Lou.
I mean, he's got to be done soon, right? Like
I don't know how you get rid of Barry Trotz, especially after the season that they had, like wasn't terrible. Like they got screwed so hard, and yet they still almost made the playoffs. And was Sorokin not a Vezina candidate? But Ilya Sorokin had an insanely good season. And, like they still have this really good tandem of Varlamov and him for this year as well. Man, I just like I don't know. Like you don't expect to have the same type of season that you had last year because of all like
this year
all the shit that happened. But
this year was Igor, Markstrom, and Saros.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Either way, Sorokin's gonna probably. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not this year anymore because they don't have Trotz. Like, remember what like the Islanders were before Trotz came in? They were last in the league in like shots against and goals against. Yeah, shots allowed and goals against.
I know the team's pumped. They're pumped for the guy they brought in because he's been. I think he was the defensive coach.
Lane Lambert.
Yeah, I think that's who it was, and I know they're excited for him.
It says that he was just an associate coach for the last almost 4 years, which I'm assuming sure. Like, well, that's a good thing at least that like they just bumped up a guy that was coaching with Trotz, so he's seen it like be done.
Yeah,
now he gets to put his own little spin on it. But I mean, the team barely changed. Like he said, maybe they can be a little bit more consistent this year. They're not going to hopefully have any kind of like arena issues or like COVID issues or any kind of shit like that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about. I mean, you're essentially have the same team that went to back-to-back conference final,
right?
So it's like, can you get consistent? Can you move on and like let's get this happening?
The other thing too is Barzal's in a contract
I
season
literally
right
was
now,
just
so
about to say that.
he's gonna probably go off.
Oh baby. I mean, there's talks that they were going to
he
trade
have like
Barzal.
he had kind of a down year last year, only 59 points in 73 games,
Yeah,
which is
he
funny to
did.
say that's a down year.
I drafted him in fantasy and he was doing shit for me. And then I dropped him and I forgot who picked him up. And then he fucking turned it up. And I was so pissed.
I did.
You dick.
But yeah, I mean, I think like out of some of the teams that we've already talked about, I think the Islanders still have probably like a little bit of a better chance of having a better season. I mean, they have the best chance of having a better season than they did last year because it is the same team that basically was in the conference finals 3 years ago.
It's a normal season.
But out of like the Penguins and the Capitals, I think the Islanders have the best shot of like getting that third spot. It's just a matter of can they do it without Barry Trotz?
Right. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. Is can they do without what's post Barry Trotz life going to be?
Yeah, they don't even have anybody on like IR or anything either, too. So they're gonna. It looks like they'll probably end up starting the season healthy, like full squad.
I love that they're still paying Rick DiPietro.
Yeah, it's never ending. It's forever.
Islanders are just
Oliver Wahlstrom too. That's the kid. I wonder if he's gonna have a good season.
That's who I wanted the Hawks to draft, and they took.
He didn't make it to them, didn't he? Or was it when they took Boquist?
I think it's when they took Boquist.
Yeah, because he was taken 11th overall in 2020, 2020, 2021. I remember. 2018. What am I fucking talking about? 2018. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, Boquist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that kid's supposed to be a goal scorer. And so far, 25 goals in 126 games. So not much. But, he's still only 22.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So probably the team with the most interesting offseason is coming in. They finished 6th in the division last year. Columbus, 37, 38, and 7 for 81 points. They brought in a guy. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Johnny Hockey, little Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Ham and Cheese, the New Jersey kid, who everybody thought was going to go to New Jersey, or Philadelphia. Oh, shocked the world and signed with Columbus.
Yeah. Out of all the places, he goes, wow, this is a cool city. Out of all the places that the hockey teams travel to on a regular basis, he's like, wow, this place is great.
You've seen Wayne's World, right?
Yeah.
When they're doing the green screen and they're doing like the different town or cities and all this, and then it pulls up Delaware and they're like, hi, we're in Delaware. Like that's just how I picture like Columbus like making their pitch. Like, yeah, we're Columbus. Our big thing is Ohio State football.
Yeah, right.
Don't play hockey here.
And then Ohio State basketball.
They also added Goodbranson.
Yeah, which I mean, maybe a mistake because
right. Yeah, that was
like they didn't think that Gaudreau was coming.
They signed him by a 4x4.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people online are like, what? Like, what are you doing?
And they gave him a 10 team no trade list. They lost Bjorkstrand. They traded him to Seattle as a cap
casualty. It's like, I guess we'll keep Goodbranson.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of like makes a little sense as well, though, to get rid of Bjorkstrand, because like your top 6 is pretty nasty with like just as like the wingers. You got Gaudreau and Line. Like Nyquist is who I thought that they were going to end up trying to trade, and then Jakub Voracek.
Because we said that too.
Johnson coming in.
We were like, Davidson, get on the phone right now.
Yeah.
And offer something for Nyquist. But I guess Nyquist still can offer something though. And I mean, they could probably use that as trade bait closer to the deadline too, kind of like what we would have done with him.
Yeah. I mean, they have a good mix of like veteran leadership and young guys. Like Cole Sillinger is the guy that they ended up picking with that draft pick that we traded them for Seth Jones. And he was the youngest player in the NHL last year and had 31 points in 79 games. Like, I'm sure he'll probably have a really good season. Kent Johnson is going to be coming in after playing at University of Michigan with like Owen Power and Matty Beniers. And I'm sure he's going to get a decent shot. He only had 3 points in 9 games last year, but this team's going to be pretty stacked offensively. Like, god damn, dude.
Patrick Laine re-signed for 4 years.
Laine's more excited than he's ever been.
He bought
to play.
Can you imagine what his number is going to be now, having Gaudreau just fucking tossing him the puck?
Dude, like, if they just had a more legit number 1 center, I think that line would be so scary. But right now, it's listed as Boone Jenner being their number 1 center, which, I mean, he's fine. He's their captain, but it's just like Nick Foligno 2.0, basically.
Yeah.
That's all I think of. He's never had more than 50 points in a season. He's kind of like a two-way guy. Like, if they had a very fuck, man, if Cole Sillinger like starts to go off this year and then he ends up being first line, like that would be gross.
God, Cylinder, Gaudreau, and Laine. Oh God.
Yeah.
Give me that. Are they ready to compete, or are they still a couple players off?
Well, with the downturn of Pittsburgh and Washington, I think like Columbus is gonna I'm gonna keep saying it. Spot number 3 is up for grabs.
Right.
Like Merzlikins wanted to play insanely great for Kivlenix. But yeah, it came out that he was like getting a little PTSD every time that cannon went off at home. Kind of like hurt his play a bit. So hopefully he's going to be doing a little bit better this year, but he's insanely great too. I mean, Boqvist is just going to be better. He got a new deal. Him and Werenski are going to be sick. Like, this team is going to be good, and they have the potential to like just grow and be even better for the next few years.
Is this note on Cap Friendly with Korpisalo, the hip injury, is that new? Like, it says expected to be out for the season. Is that for this upcoming season, or was that last season? So if you go to the depth chart, and you get the injury icon next to his name
for Korpisalo. Fuck. Expected it. Hip injury. I didn't know that.
I didn't know. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, he played last year, right?
He's listed as being active and not injured reserve. I think he played last year.
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, that kind of changes things a little bit too, just not having a solid backup, you know?
Yeah, I don't know who their backup would be. But I mean, I'm sure they just want Merzlikins carrying the brunt of the load anyway. I forgot that the Teixeira.
Oh no, that's old. It's old.
Okay.
Yeah, it expects to be ready for the 2022-2023 campaign.
The Alexander Teixeira kid went back home.
Yeah.
He's playing in, I think,
he just signed in Switzerland, which is weird because he left the team to be in that substance abuse.
That's what he's listed as being.
That's what I was going to bring up too. That's kind of a weird situation. How can you be in that?
Well, it's a substance abuse behavioral health program.
But how can you be in that and then go sign for in another league?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And that's what
I
I
don't
don't
know exactly how that
understand.
works. I was it not like a family thing? Like, is that what it was? I don't
Originally, yeah,
remember.
because he missed, like, he left the team last year.
Was it?
Um,
No, he's
March
just currently playing.
March
He
10th of
played
last
last
year,
year.
he was granted indefinite leave of absence for personal reasons.
Oh, well,
August 24th, he will remain in his native France for the 2022-2023 campaign and won't play for the Blue Jackets this season. The same day, he was announced that he signed for ZSC Lions.
I don't know. They also have James Neal on a PTO.
That's right.
Is this the year James Neal makes it all the way?
Yeah, not in Columbus. Sorry. Did you know about the 8-player rule for the PTO, by the way, or for preseason?
There's a what?
Allegedly, there's a rule in the NHL that you have to have 8 veterans dressed every preseason game.
Oh, okay.
So that is kind of an explanation on why all these teams sign players to PTOs that don't necessarily like make sense or why they would be with the team, because it's just so they can get their veteran bodies in the lineup early before they start throwing in their normal guys.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
I never knew that. Thanks, Reddit.
Nope.
Reddit taught me.
Thanks, Reddit.
All right, let's move along. We got 2 teams left. I know we're kind of going a little bit long here. New Jersey 27-46-9 for 63 points. Vanacek, Marino, Hala, Palat. They lost Pavel Zacha.
Yeah.
This team finally gonna be good. I feel like this team is always flirting with hey, this team has got a great roster now. They can do this. They're gonna go off and be a playoff team, and then they're at the bottom of the division.
I mean, it didn't help last year that Jack Hughes got hurt and he was having a fucking insanely good season. 56 points in 49 games. They definitely got better though. And I don't know. I want them to like be good.
I do too. I
I
want
think
Jack
Jack
Hughes.
Hughes is so good, so awesome to watch. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think Mackenzie Blackwood was out most of the season last year too. He only
COVID
played 25
stuff.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's like the guy anymore.
I mean, especially with Vanacek in there now, and they gave him
yeah,
a $3.4 million for 3 years. You got,
let's see. Yeah, I mean, like they were probably on the lower end of like making the playoffs, but if Jack Hughes has an insane season like he was last year, like I think there's a good chance.
you got Jesper Bratt too on a 1-year deal. He's still an RFA next year, but it was a very much a hey, prove it and we'll
Do it
pay
again.
you. Yeah, and we'll pay
Yeah.
you the deal. Yeah, I want this team to be good. I really do.
They like out of some of the teams that we've talked about, like they I think have like some of the better like 1-2 centers, and Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes, and like those are great pieces to build around. I mean, it helps when you get fucking first overall. Like,
yeah, Palat, Hughes, Bratt as the number 1. I mean, that's a solid number 1 line right there.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
This,
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I want
That's good stuff.
Still bad.
Yeah, I mean, was Dougie Hamilton hurt? No, he wasn't. He just only put up 30 points in 62 games.
Well, I mean, he was hurt. He missed 20 games.
Yeah, but I mean, the previous years in Carolina, though, too, it was 42 points in 55 games and 40 points in 47.
Also shortened seasons.
Still more points, less games.
I know. Okay, fair. I thought you're talking about games played. I was like,
no.
Yeah.
I'm saying more points, less games.
No, he's
like, that's why.
Usually pretty healthy. 82, 81, 82, 82, 47. So he missed some time in that one because that was the year it pretty much got shut down at 71.
Are they not having Alexander Holtz coming in? It's one of their young guys. this season. He had 51 points in 52 games in the AHL. I think that's what's his name? Fuck, the kid in Detroit. Luke. Oh fuck, it's the other Holtz kid. I think they're brothers. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
It was him and Sider that would like lighten it up this year at the beginning of the year, and then Sider was the only one that was like consistently doing fantastic. How do you not know who I'm talking about?
I don't know. I know
Raymond.
Sider.
Isn't it Raymond Holtz? No, it's Lucas Raymond. Fuck.
Raymond of the Holtz.
Never mind. I don't know why I'm thinking.
You're talking about Lucas Raymond?
Yes. That's why. I don't know. I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, because I'm starting to read
another Holtz somewhere.
Raymond of the Red Wings, Holtz of the Devils, forever linked.
Yeah, why is that?
Pull up the article.
Are they both in Sweden together?
In the build-up to the 2020 entry draft, the two Swedish sensations were paired together in the national junior squad, an unrelated version of the Sundin twins.
That's why.
Projection where Raymond would be selected somewhere between the 2nd and 5th overall draft day. Holtz was rated to go anywhere from the 7th to 10th.
Yeah, so I'm dumb when it comes to that.
And the Red Wings claimed with the 4th pick, and then 3 selections later, the Devils selected Holtz. Dude, that's I can't wait to talk about next week because I think there were some good teams I want to talk about next week that I'm excited for.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Philly
special, 25, 46, and 11 for 61 points. They brought in Tony DeAngelo. They brought in Torts. Another GM that just kind of shit the bed.
They brought in Nick Delorier. Just a real big Philly guy. Just a fighter. Geez, like I don't know. This team, like Carter Hart hasn't really done as well as he did like his rookie year, really.
Yeah, he's borderline turning into a bust. And
the team just hasn't been good either.
It's been yeah. I mean, this is another thing too, though. It's like if you're gonna bring up a goalie young, you've better make sure that you're built to support him.
Plus, I forgot they traded for Rasmus Ristolainen.
Oh God, yeah.
That was last season. Just woof. But yeah, man, like they got rid of Giroux. They traded a redhead for a redhead, so they got Owen Tippett. I mean, who ended up Travis Konechny had the most points on the team last year with 52.
Really?
I don't know. I think Couturier was hurt for most of the season, which was pretty brutal. He only played 29 games, and he's insanely good. But I mean, he's also just kind of like a Jonathan Toews two-way guy.
I'm legit blind. Why are they not on cap friendly?
Who?
Philly. Yeah, they are.
Mean?
Jesus Christ. I'm like looking through and I'm like, where are they? And thinking because they got nobody, they didn't bring any money in, they'd still be pretty in the middle or the low. No, they're still $2 million over the cap right now.
Yeah.
They and still with Couturier and Ryan Ellis on IR. They actually sneaky might be a team to be worried about for worse record.
Oh, for yeah. Well, I mean, if it's anything like 2007, they can be the worst, and we'll just stay first overall.
Yeah, this is a team, and my main story with them is how the fuck is the Trotz situation going to go with them? I know, and I mean, he even said they haven't even started Torts situation. Like he even said before, they haven't even had training camp yet, and he's already like, I don't like the atmosphere in this locker room. I got a problem with it. Like Jesus Christ! Like,
all right, Torts. Cam Atkinson.
Come on,
fuck.
Always good. It's always good to have. I love him in there just for the sound bites.
Yeah.
But oh my God, old man yelling at the sky, like Jesus, figure it out. But like, I don't understand why they did that or why. I don't think it's gonna work. And I'm just curious how long he actually lasts in Philly before they switch it up. Yeah, probably as long as the GM lasts, because I think he's on the chopping block.
Yeah, because what was it? I think it was a post the other day that was just like Philly fans, like when they introduced the GM, it's like he's got a plan. Philly fans like 4 years later, what's the plan? I don't know how long he's actually been. Chuck Fletcher. Let's see, when was he appointed the GM? 2019. So he's been at the helm for 3 years, and so it's like 3 years later, they're still like, hey Chuck, what's the plan, bud?
I mean, you got to give him credit though. When he was asked why they didn't try for Goudreau, and his response was, we would have to move some pieces, and it just probably would have been too much work.
Oh man, I forgot. This is the guy that signed Ryan Suter and Zach Parise in Minnesota to those deals, where the owner's like, here, I'm giving you like $196 million. Go get me a team with it. All right, guys, I got you 2 players.
2 players. Here you go. Oh, yikes. Yeah, so Philly, I think they're the consensus number 8 in this division for me.
Yeah, I think every other team has a chance besides them.
All right, well, let's wrap this up here. Let's go playoffs. Who's making the playoffs from this division? First, are you doing any wild cards from this division, or are you just doing the top 3?
I'm gonna just do top 3. I don't know.
All
just
right.
Top 3.
All right. Who do you got one in the division?
Carolina. I think that's easy.
I agree. Number 2.
I think Rangers can have the best chance of being in the second spot.
I'm gonna go just for giggles and just to be different. I'm saying the Islanders.
Okay.
I don't think that's too far fetched. I really don't think so.
I don't either, because I was gonna put them 3rd.
You put them 3rd?
Yeah.
All right. And just because I want them, I'm gonna put New Jersey 3rd.
Okay.
No, they would be 4th. I'm taking a wild card team.
They have a lot of things.
No, because
do better.
The Atlantic is just too good. No, I will go. Yep. I'll fucking stick with Pittsburgh because they're gonna be there, and it's gonna be infuriating and whatever.
It's gonna be one of Pittsburgh or Washington.
So all right, so that is our Metropolitan Division preview. Next week, the Atlantic, which I think is probably going to be the most fun to talk about and might arguably be the best division in hockey right now. But
yes,
we'll get into that next week. Tanner, you got anything else before we let go?
No.
Get off. All right. What do you want to call it?
Just Metro preview 2022.
Creative. Let's go.
I mean, just keep it simple.
Yeah. All right. So for Tanner and Jarom, this is episode 191, the Metro Division Preview 2022. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the YouTube channel, 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, social media at WCB Podcast, Facebook, the Windy City Bender Podcast. Check me out on hockeybuzz.com. I have a couple articles out there already. Yeah. So until next week, I'll see you later.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
The Windy City Benders Podcast. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. And follow the boys on socials at WCB Podcast.